Navika Kumar, our political editor, broke that story tonight. She's joining me from Delhi. Also joining us from our studios in Delhi is Mr. T.S.R. Subramaniam, former Cabinet Secretary. Ajay Kumar is a member of Parliament. Prakash Javadekar, national spokesperson of the BJP, is also a member of the Public Accounts Committee. I'm joined by Pinaki Mishra, member of Parliament and leader of the BJD. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My first question is to Mr. Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam, when this report is received by the government on the 11th, it's received by the government. Is there any doubt then that the report has been received by the government when there is a receipt like this?
Arnav, there is no question it was received by government, because my recollection is that when it goes to the president, simultaneously copies are endorsed to the finance ministry and also to the ministry concerned. And one more, I don't know, 3 or 4 copies are endorsed. So clearly it was there, number one. Basically, this is the property of the Parliament and the PAC. The government is only a post office here. Government have no role to play except print it, and as Mr. Jaitley said. So clearly what has happened is for 10 days, this is clearly skullduggery, this is clearly obfuscation, duplicity, unnecessarily, because sooner or later the report will become public. We are going to discuss it threadbare. My own hunch is that every single observation, particularly after the experience of 2G, every single observation of the CAG will now be very carefully thought out and would be backed by documents. So clearly, I don't think they have really gained anything, lost a lot of goodwill. The same tactics they have used in 20 times in Anna 1, 2, 3, they are using it everywhere. I think it is sort of continuously eroding the credibility of government. How can for example, Jaiswal say that it is the job of the finance ministry to, but he cleverly avoided through words that he didn't know about it. He should have said we have received it. But very soon we are going to put it as soon as it is completed. But there is no harm. In other words, there is no transparency at all the way government is functioning. Public confidence is now totally shaken. Is absolute bad faith.
I'd also like to get Pinaki Mishra here, because I remember that Mr. Jaiswal says on the 22nd of May, we have not received any report on the CAG's latest version. The Prime Minister says that the CAG report has not been received. When we do, we'll submit a detailed factual response. Mr. Mishra, what does this amount to? You're telling the country that the CAG report has not been submitted, whereas there is now proof which has emerged that the CAG report on the coal scam has been submitted.
Arnab, in fact, what your channel has shown is the Prime Minister's statement comes as late as the 29th of May. I saw that scrolling on your channel just now. It's very, very serious. A former Cabinet Secretary, a man of, unimpeachable qualities, track record, has gone on record to say that this is skullduggery, this is obfuscation, and this is duplicity. What more can I say? It is very, very sad and very shocking that the government has brought things to this pass.
This is going to be one of the points of friction. I'd like to get in Prakash Javadekar. You're a member of the PAC. Would you have rather, Mr. Javadekar, that say the PAC, the CAG report is with the government, Rashtrapati, Finance Ministry on 11th, Parliament is on? You remember that the commotion in Parliament when everyone says table the report. What did the government tell you at that time? What did they say to you at that time?
Government was saying that what we received was the draft report and we have not received the final report. Now what your channel has brought is, it's a very shocking but true that they had already received the report, but they indulge into falsification. Why they want to hide? And what they want to hide is the question nation is asking today. Because this is the falsehood. Because me and my senior colleague Hansraj Ahir from Lok Sabha, we made the complaint to the CVC, which is forwarded to the CBI and the CBI inquiries on our complaint. We have independent material with us. We have no complaint based on CAG report. But they are even afraid of CAG report. They are afraid of everything, because there is much to hide, and that is what they want to hide, but things will come out.
Would a draft report be submitted, Navika, to the government? Would a draft report be submitted to the Rashtrapati? is this letter here, would the President's House respond to the
No,
CAG?
there is absolutely
Yes.
no provision.
Yes.
Arnab, there's no provision for any draft report to be submitted formally to either the Finance Ministry or to Rashtrapati Bhavan. The way a CAG report is finalized, when the CAG report is in the making, the CAG sends questionnaires to the concerned ministry through which all the expenditure has really taken place. Questions are raised with the coal ministry. The coal ministry gives its written responses. These responses are vetted. After that, there is also an exit conference that is held with the coal ministry, the officials of the concerned ministry, and it's only after going through the procedure of back and forth of receiving comments of ministries, vetting those comments, coming up with key documents, KD, that's the subtitled name that is used within the CAG, KD. Every single statement that is made in the final document is relied upon by a key document, and that corroborates all the findings of a CAG report. And that report is then sent to the Rashtrapati Bhavan and the Finance Ministry. There are 4 copies of the CAG report which are personally signed by the Comptroller and Auditor General in his own ink pen. And those 4 original copies are then sent to the Rashtrapati Bhavan and to the concerned ministry and to the Finance Ministry. Why everybody in the government is trying to dodge the question that they did not receive the report is the big question, because this document here very clearly points out that on 11th of May, if Rashtrapati Bhavan, Secretariat of the President received the report, then it is the same day that it would have been received in the government. Why was the government ducking for cover? The big question is, at that time, 22nd of May was the 3rd anniversary of the UPA, and clearly they didn't want a dampener for the UPA celebrations, because this time around this report raised questions about the Prime Minister's role.
Ajay Kumar, how do you view this? Can they say the delay happened at Rashtrapati Bhavan and therefore ask the President, because the President goes by the advice of the Cabinet?
You know, Arnab, there can be a lot of debates on, you know, did they delay it or not delay it and presenting it in the Parliament. I mean, and there might be various interpretations. But I think the basic fault, I think, is, and fundamentally, which is somebody in the system has been lying in terms of, you know, receipt. I think that's the, and I think there'll be a unanimous debate, whether it's at the, you know, at all the ministers' level. Not receiving and saying we have no idea about the report itself is extremely damaging. I mean, whether you tabled it on 11th or 18th or 22nd is, I think, a secondary question. The fundamental issue is to deny that you have received the report and to say that we have not received it, it's a draft. So I think coming on channel, coming publicly and saying it, I think that's extremely damaging. And it's, I mean, it's a huge amount of what you call a mistake, or I mean, a huge amount of accountability in terms of, you know, making a public servant making a statement to the public and also on the floor of the House saying that it's a draft and we don't have the report. So I think it's
no, but now what's happening is
extremely wrong. And
now what's happening is
in terms of tabling it, you know, they can always be.
Yeah, but now the PMO says ask the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, and the Coal Minister said I would never know anyway if the report came in. Now that also is tough to understand. When the Coal Minister says we have not received any copy of the CAG's report, he's essentially meaning we as in the government. I presume he's meaning the government, Pinaki. He's not meaning only the Coal Minister.
You know,
absolutely.
Arnab, I'm very sorry I got cut off while I was speaking to you earlier. But, you know, what your channel has shown today is, unfortunately, that the Prime Minister is either completely out of the loop of what is happening in his government, or worse, appears to have not spoken the entire truth. Because if this is received in the Rashtrapati Bhavan on the 11th, the Prime Minister should not on the 29th have said that there is still only a draft report in circulation. That's number one.